and I will really not do anything with the 4-stripe that was confusingly similar. So essentially, she's saying in this big paragraph, she's saying, hey, Adidas came to me. Yeah, I had some 3-stripe garments that I was selling. I told them I'll stop that. Then they went away. They came back years later and said, hey, with this 4-stripes that you're doing, we don't want you to do that either. And she's like, hold on. We had an agreement for the 3 stripes. Now y'all don't want me to do the 4 stripes? All right, man. Look at this, what I'll do. All the 4-stripe stuff that can be looked at as similar to yours, I'll stop. And it seemed like that was the agreement between Adidas and Paige, who's the CEO and the founder of Aviator Nation. But again, the interesting thing was that this agreement had a confidentiality provision, and we all know what confidentiality is. You can't talk about it to the public. You can't disclose the contents of this agreement to other people. And she's on this podcast. Hey, that's a good and a bad about podcasts. These things get you in trouble, get you publicity at the same time. So she's talking about how she came up, how she built her company. And next thing you know, she's getting hit. She's spilling the beans on some confidential stuff that she shouldn't have been talking about. And, essentially she got hit with the lawsuit. And the interesting thing is, if you go look at the podcast, like I talked about, they cut this paragraph right here. So this big paragraph that you're seeing that I'm highlighting, they cut that out of the podcast. So it seems like maybe she wasn't supposed to say that part. But just moving on to paragraph 5 here. Paige said in the Paige's public statement not only breached, okay, so the Adidas attorneys are saying she breached the 2020 agreement based on these public statements. And also it demonstrated the contemptuous indifference she and her company repeatedly have exhibited for the duties and obligations that she undertook in the agreement. So here's pretty much exhibit 1. This is what she said. This was what Adidas saying per the agreement that she said she would stop selling. And this is what she's continuing to sell. So again, I asked you guys in the chat, do you guys think that this is similar to Adidas' famous 3-stripe marks? Yes or no? She's saying in the 2020 agreement that this particular item she's going to stop selling, but she's still selling it, even with the jacket, with the marks across the front. She's saying that she's going to quit selling this per the 2022 agreement, and she studies selling them. Okay, we have so this is kind of looks a little bit closer to the Adidas. You maybe had a better argument for the orange, red, yellow shading, but as you start to get to this color, it does get a little bit more interesting. And I'm gonna tell you why it gets interesting. We're going to go to her website. We're going to go back to the website that she has. So if you go to if you go to her best sellers, this is why she's continuing to sell them. It seems like this is part of her best sellers. The hoodie with it seems like she has, in this case, 5 marks or 5 stripes. You got the sweatpants with the 5 stripes. Again, the sweaters with the 5 stripes. So again, this is the best sellers tab. So this is one of her best selling items. So I mean, I guess I get why she's continuing to sell it, even though she told Adidas part of the agreement that she's not going to sell it. This is one of the popular items. So I mean, that's interesting. That's a little interesting to me.